So this HOA treasurer parked her $60,000 BMW right in my garage without asking. She said it was just temporary. 2 hours later, I came home and found her car sitting there, engine off, still warm like it owned the place. Now here's the thing, she's the same woman who fined me last month for using the wrong shade of beige on my fence. She's the same one who told my daughter to stop riding her bike because it lowered property values. So when I saw that shiny BMW sitting in my space, I didn't shout. I didn't argue, I just smiled, pressed the garage button, locked it tight, and booked myself a 2-week vacation. Because sometimes karma doesn't need words, just a garage door that clicks shut. So this HOA treasurer parked her $60,000 BMW right in my garage without asking. She said it was just temporary. That's what she told the landscaper who saw her walk in through my side gate with a spare key, a key that wasn't supposed to exist anymore. 2 hours later, I got home from work and found the door slightly open. Inside, her luxury car sat like a trophy gleaming under my old yellow light bulb, and that's when I realized she didn't park there by mistake. This was power. This was her saying, I can do whatever I want because I'm the HOA. Her name's Sharon, though everyone calls her Karen with a calculator. She runs the HOA books like a dictator. You can't paint your fence without her approval. Can't leave your trash can out for more than 12 minutes, and heaven forbid your mailbox is an inch too tall. She'll have a violation letter printed before the sun sets. Last month, she fined me for repainting my fence. Said the shade of beige I used wasn't approved. She even took pictures, sent them to the board, and smiled while handing me a $250 citation. But now, her shiny BMW sat in my garage, taking up the space where my daughter's bike usually goes. And when I checked my security camera, I saw her smug face in the footage, parking like she owned the place, then leaving with that little wave, the same one she gave everyone right before sending fines. I stood there for a minute, just watching that footage over and over. Then something in me clicked. She wanted to play games. Fine, let's play. I walked over, pressed the garage button, and watched the door slide shut. The latch locked, the remote light blinked once. Click, silence. I pocketed the remote, packed my bag, and called a friend. Hey, I said, remember that road trip we talked about? 2 hours later, I was on the highway, windows down, laughter spilling out of the car. And behind me, sitting in the dark, was Sharon's BMW. When the first text came through, I ignored it. When she called, I turned off my phone, because for once, I wanted her to know what it felt like to be powerless. She could fine me all she wanted, but this time her rules didn't matter, because she broke mine, and this time, she picked the wrong garage. By the third day, the neighborhood was buzzing. Someone had told someone who told someone else that Sharon's BMW had vanished. The HOA group chat was chaos. Does anyone have footage? Was it stolen? Should we call the police? I was 3 states away, eating pancakes at a diner when I opened the thread. And there she was, Sharon, typing paragraphs like her life depended on it. She was accusing me of theft, demanding immediate board action, but her story didn't add up. She couldn't explain how her car keys worked on my property gate, or why her vehicle was last seen parked next to my lawn. The best part, the HOA president, an older guy named Frank, wasn't buying it. He'd had enough of her drama. He said, Sharon, you've overstepped before. If you broke into his property, that's not HOA business, that's trespassing. I almost spit my coffee laughing. Then came the call. Mr. Ray, the police officer said, we received a report about a missing BMW, possibly linked to your address. I played dumb. Oh, haven't been home all week, officer. You're welcome to check my garage if you get the HOA permission, but I'm on vacation. He hesitated, thanked me, and hung up. For the next few days, I watched from afar as the situation spiraled. Sharon printed flyers. She even started offering a reward for information about her stolen car. The irony, the car she was begging to find was sitting right where she'd illegally parked it. Safe, sound, locked behind my steel door. By day 10, she looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Neighbors started whispering not about me but about her. Some said she'd been abusing her HOA power for years. Others shared stories, secret fines, selective enforcement, the way she favored certain houses over others. And that's when something amazing happened. The board voted to suspend her pending investigation. Her empire, her clipboard, her fines, her control started to crumble. All because she couldn't resist parking in the wrong driveway. I sipped my drink, watching the sunset. Sometimes you don't need to fight. You just need patience and a locked door. 2 weeks later, I pulled into my driveway. The air felt lighter. Even the neighbors waved more freely, like the fear had lifted. And there it was, my garage, still locked, still quiet. I could almost feel her stress through the metal door. I hit the button. The door creaked open slowly. And there she was, her BMW, untouched. A thin layer of dust glimmered on the hood. Perfect. Moments later, Sharon herself came storming up the driveway. Her hair was messy, her expression wild. "Where's my car?" she screamed. I stepped aside. "In there." I said calmly, "Exactly where you left it." She froze. You had no right to lock it." I smiled. "You had no right to park it." Her face turned red. She tried to play the victim, tried to twist the story like she always did, but this time everyone saw through it. Half the neighborhood had gathered by now, watching the showdown. "So," I said, "before you call the cops again, maybe tell them how you got in my garage without permission, or how you used a key you weren't supposed to have." She went silent. Then, from across the street, Frank, the HOA president, walked over, holding a clipboard. "Sharon," he said, "you're officially removed from the HOA board, and as for the key you made, that's being handed over to the authorities." Her mouth dropped open. Neighbors started clapping. It wasn't loud at first, but it grew. A wave of sound echoing down the cul-de-sac. I didn't smile, didn't gloat. I just handed her car key to the officer standing by the curb and said, "Next time you want to park here, send a request in writing." She drove off in silence, her BMW crawling down the street that once bowed to her. And when the taillights disappeared, I closed my garage again. Click, quiet. For the first time in months, it actually felt like home again. Because sometimes revenge doesn't come from shouting or fighting. It comes from calm, from letting truth and time do their work. Sharon lost her title, her reputation, and her fake sense of power. I lost 2 weeks of my life, but gained something far better: peace. And every time I walk past that garage, I remember one simple thing: power borrowed without respect always gets repossessed.